It's been a few weeks since we made apple butter and collected all of these apple scraps that we are now turning into apple scrap vinegar. They have been soaking in the sugar water mixture down in the basement and getting a stir every couple of days. Every day would be ideal, but getting this scrap t-shirt off of each one and stirring them with everything else going on with kiddos at home was just not realistic. So as you can see, after those couple of weeks with a little bit of stirring, we have a huge variation in the color in the liquid down in the bottom. And that's okay. We never really portioned out how many cores and how much skin was in each one. So there's gonna be a lot of variation. I am gonna open these up, show you what it looks like, and then combine them all so that we end up with one big batch that has kind of an average of all the different batches together. All right, the moment of truth. This looks great. There's no mold on the top, just an overall white kind of hue. That's usually what they call mother. And it is okay if you get a little mold on the top. You want to just scrape that off. You don't want an abundance of that in your batch, but same thing. We just have the white mother, same thing. So far it's great. These are all looking pretty much the same, which is surprising considering how different the liquid looks underneath. Yep, same thing. And this little guy. The covers that I just took off of these were actually made with scrap t-shirts. It was a perfect material to reuse, to allow air to still get in and out for the apple scrap vinegar process, but completely seal out any of the fruit flies that are hanging out this time of year or any other kind of creatures or bacteria that we didn't want in and out. Now these apple scraps have done what we saved them for. So now we just need to scoop them out of the top. If you had the opportunity to grow a glob of mother, I have yet to experience that, but apparently it can happen spontaneously and you want to keep that. But for us, it doesn't really look like we have any of that. Maybe I'll discover differently as we're digging this out, but for the most part, you just want to get all of the apple scraps out so that we're down to just a liquid. Now the great part is that these apple scraps don't have to be finished with their job yet either. These are going to be a great addition to the compost pile that will not only help speed up the process of composting and breaking down the materials that are in your compost pile, they also help repel some slugs and some other kind of garden pests that you really don't want to encourage having around. So these apple scraps just keep on producing wonderful things for us. It's amazing how the peels basically disintegrate down almost to like feather-like ribbons. It's great to see all the bubbles that are coming up that have developed in this acidy wonderfulness that we have made. I do recommend the more wide mouth jars. I had a lot more than I expected, so I ended up using this one narrower mouth. And it's kind of difficult to get the apple scraps out. So use kind of the biggest barrel-shaped jars you can. Now that I've gotten the scraps out, you can really see the difference in color in our different jars of apple scrap vinegar. Because I have so much of it, I'm gonna do the straining process in a few steps. I'm gonna start with just a basic colander to get out all the big pieces. And then I'll go down to a screen or a cheesecloth to get out all the little bits. But this way I can get more of it strained faster and not be overwhelmed with the quantity of stuff that's getting separated out. Here we go. With the first 2 jars combined, you can start to see all the little bits that are coming out just through the colander strain. Smells vinegary. We'll keep these 2. Ideally, you would use cheesecloth then to strain out all the little particle bits. For some reason, I don't have any right now. So I do have this kitchen screening thing, and I'm just gonna make do with that. It's apple scrap vinegar. It's not gonna be perfect, and this way I can get going with it and not waste the rest of my day. Let's see how this goes. Ideally, I want to get the 2 batches together, or the 2 big bowls, to combine all the goodness from all those individual jars. But there's so much of this, I don't know how well that's going to work. We'll just have to see. But the screen's working fairly well. I think like most things in the kitchen and in life in general, you have to be willing to just kind of wing it sometimes. It's pretty thick, almost like apple saucy paste down in the bottom. I probably could have left this to ferment for another week or 2, as there was still a lot of bubble activity, so there was still a lot going on with the fermentation process. I managed to get all 5 jars strained and into one giant bowl. So now we have one combined batch of all the different fermented rates that happened in those different jars. And now I have a sterilized, clean jar. I'm gonna put all of it into store indefinitely, and then I can use it whenever I like for cleaning products, body products. You can consume it for things like salad dressings or probiotic drinking, but I personally use so much of it with cleaning products and rinses for my hair that I'll probably use it for just that. So whatever you use it for, isn't it great to get another use out of something that you would have thrown away otherwise?